It says we're live on StreamYard. I'm going to reload on YouTube to double check. Nope. Come on, YouTube. There we go. It says we're live on YouTube. So, good morning, everyone. I'm actually going to switch us around so that once we start the first sprint, if I have a comment up on screen, it'll block me and not my guest. For those of you who saw the thumbnail before this, you're probably wondering where Autumn is. She is going to be here, but late. So she'll be popping in at some point. In the meantime, though, lovely Bree, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Bree Buonomo. I do videos on YouTube, of course. That's why I'm here. I do writing content, reading content. I started doing witchy content, and I want to make things that I want to make. So you can come follow me if you're interested in anything of my life. But I post videos Tuesdays and Fridays, and I drink a lot of coffee, and I'm really trying to get my second draft done.
Fair. Okay, so let me set up the first forest room. I'm looking at the chat and everyone here knows me, but for people who don't know me, just in case someone comes in later or is lurking and hasn't said hello in the chat. Hello, my name is Sarah Hoffman. I'm a self-published author of 4 books, soon to be 5. And I make videos about writing and musical theater. And I'm also like a baby witch, as Bree said in her most recent video, but I haven't introduced that to my YouTube channel yet, aside from word sprints that I host called Trees and Tarot, which is like this normal sprint with the forest app, but then I add tarot cards. And Bree has been on my channel for that. I think you were the first person I had on my channel for that.
I'm pretty sure, because that was back in September already.
Yeah, dang.
Yeah, that was wild.
That was so much fun.
Yeah, I love it. I love using the tarots for prompts. I actually, that stream was the one that I really used the prompts with to start my prep work for one of my new novels.
Yeah, so I remember that.
I had a lot of fun because the second time around we did it, I was focusing more on my editing. So I'm I'm not really using the prompts, but it is a really fun idea.
I don't always use the prompts, but they're just fun to do. Even just pulling and explaining them.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. I'm going to set up the first forest room. So what I've started doing this month is I now do 10 minutes and then 20, 20, 20, and then a final 10-minute sprint. Because I can't bring myself to do a Maddie 5-minute dash, but the 10 minutes.
They're just
Maddie just popped in.
Maddie.
Yes. So I just, that's why I started doing that. Not wind up. Although kind of, but definitely a wind down and
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm trying to say? I'm not saying
it down.
Good morning, everyone. I'm not going to go through all the comments just because there was a conversation happening at 7 a.m. in the chat, which good for all of you. I woke up at 7:45 and then, yeah.
I woke up at 6:30 in a panic, but.
Klasha coming in clutch always has that ready, when I'm explaining the new thing, because I have, since I think July when I started my channel, it was 2020, and now it's this new thing only this month. So
I dig it.
You totally came at the right time.
You were coming.
I'm going to share the forest room code, and then I will share the link. It's shorter than usual. It's only 8. No, wow. That's one of the digits.
Awesome.
Yeah, no. It's only 5 things. And yeah, I'm sorry. I'm on it, I swear, but my mouth is not cooperating. My brain, except for couldn't figure out the wind up thing. Warm up. That's what I was looking for. Warm up and wind down.
You were fine.
I got there. My goodness. I think, whatever. I had a very weird, like, psychic experience last night, and I think it just really messed with my sleep.
Probably did. That stuff will happen.
Like, I just went to bed being like, this is so confusing. I don't know what this, because it's something that had never happened to me before.
Yeah.
Like a type of psychic thing that had never happened to me.
Interesting.
So.
I know I haven't had anything crazy, although in this room at one point I have a glass eagle bookend.
Okay.
And, this room is pretty stable or whatever. They have never moved. They have never moved since. And the one time I was like crouching here, and the eagle nose dived into my back. I had a bruise as big as my head on my back because of how hard it hit me. And I'm like, where's the sage? We're saging. Like, oh, I threw open the windows. I'm going around. My husband's like, are you smoking marijuana? Like, what is happening? I'm like, something attacked me, okay?
I also love that he has been funding your witchy journey. You're like, gifted to me by my husband, gifted to me by my husband, gifted to me by my husband. I was like, come on through, hubby.
Yeah. He knows how to make me happy. And it is witchy stuff.
I actually left my oracle deck in New Jersey. But we have the same oracle deck, just in different, like, I have the shadow version and you have the rose version.
I love it. I would probably have all of their versions, but the rose called to me the most.
I mean, like, their deck calls to me so much, but like my Penny Dreadful deck, which I do have here, like is so spot on for me, even though like it's definitely not beginner friendly. Like the artwork, not beginner friendly at all. It works so perfect for me. It's never wrong. And it works so well with the oracle deck that I have, that like part of me is like, is it worth getting the other oracle deck if I have no need for it? Whereas Caro has a Neon Moon one, which is like very I almost said steampunk. That's not true. Cyberpunk.
I like that.
Inspired, and I got it because I was like, oh my god, this is like perfect for a story I have planned. And I was like, I don't need it. Like, I'm not actually going to use it for my stories. And then I just couldn't get past that.
Yeah.
Hey. I'm going to move it so we're alphabetical. So, Autumn, would you like to introduce yourself? We haven't done the first sprint yet.
Oh, good. Okay,
yeah, think about witchy stuff, because I watched Bree's video from yesterday this morning.
Yeah.
I was too nose in my own witchy book yesterday to be bothered to watch her video.
Oh my god. Oh, what witchy book? Because my mom was just telling me about a witchy book that she read a little while ago, and she wants me to read it. Which one?
What book? No. I'm not reading a book. I'm writing my.
Oh, writing.
And it actually has a moth on it. It's not a death moth, but
I love it.
Yeah.
Hang on, let me see. It's called Dark Witch by Nora Roberts.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
I have heard of that, actually.
Is that? I was gonna say, because I have Nora Roberts Year One, which is also like a magical book, but I don't think it's. I think it's just like magic. It's not witches. So
yeah. No. This is a different one. But
I think it's like 3 different witches.
It's okay. Dark Witch, the Cousin O'Dwyer trilogy.
Oh,
and so that's the first book in the trilogy. It came out in 2017.
Yeah,
according to Amazon.
But she loved it. And she's definitely not like a witchy woo-woo type person, but she was like, I really liked it.
I will say,
I have multiple books on my to be read list this year, and like they have witch in the title. And then I was looking at more books on my TBR, and I was like, well, I can't make my whole TBR this year about witches, or like, when I have to say that like in job applications to literary agencies and stuff, they're gonna think that this girl's a nut. So I gotta like mix it up a little bit.
Right. I remember like when I was like 14, 15, like I would just read whatever was around at the time. So like my mom would people would give my mom books and then I would read them. So I used to read Nora Roberts a lot, which I'm like, they were like, I'm just thinking like now, like compared to like Sarah J. Maas's sex scenes, because whew, her new book, if anyone is reading that, like we should talk, because like I need to like take cold bath after reading some of those scenes. But like I
Yeah,
used to
Sarah J. Maas kind of.
Oh
I
my
stopped before those started happening, but from what I read online, I'm like, woof, I missed stuff. But like, there's stuff that I missed that I'm very happy I missed also.
yeah. But like I used to think like Nora Roberts was a little bit like scandalous when I was like 15 reading it. And now I'm like, she had nothing on Sarah. But also I have like I'm spoiler alert, but I am vlogging my reading experience.
That's not a spoiler alert.
Well, it's an upcoming video, I guess. My goal is to have it out by Tuesday, but like it's a 750-page book. I'm trying so hard to finish it by tomorrow, but it's a big book. So we're gonna see when it's either gonna come out like tomorrow or it's gonna come out in like 2 weeks. So
Oh my god.
but I have a lot to say about the sex scene.
Of course you do, Bree. I'm here for it.
I can't wait to see your video.
I love Bree's videos about every book she talks about. I'm just
oh
like,
my god, you just make it so much fun. Like there are certain books where it's like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna get around to reading this book. But like just hearing you talk about it, I'm like, I'm either interested or it's like, oh, I'm really glad I didn't read this book. It is so much fun to hear you talk about this book.
I love that. Like I love talking about books. Like now, clearly, I have a YouTube channel for it, and like I can go on and on and on. Like I've cut out so much from like some of my videos. Like I am glad that this happens, because people in real life will be like coming up to me all the time, be like, "What did you think about this? Like, let me know your opinions." And I'm like, "What? Like, am I actually good at it, or do you guys just come to me because I'm the only reader you know?"
no,
Well,
you are
now someone
fabulous.
asks you to like you should just like have like all of your videos on your phone, like ready to go. Like, and depending what they ask you, open the proper tab. And you're like,
Yes.
you want me to text this to you?
Oh my god, seriously. I did that once to someone because they were like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I literally just made a video on this. Can you just go watch that and come back to me?
I love that.
That's the best thing ever.
Like, I don't want to repeat myself, but.
Okay, it is 9:12. So we've been chatting for 12 minutes.
I know.
So, let's jump into the first sprint. And then after, when we're doing our like check-ins, I guess we could all say what we were working on. Bree, I'm assuming you're still editing based on your Instagram story, but you can tell people what you're editing if people don't already know. And then Autumn, you're either still working on Project Brina or you've switched to something else, and I don't know.
You're right. It's Project Brina.
Okay.
Eventually we'll get there.
Okay. So it is now 9:13, apparently, because I spent a minute explaining how it's 9:12. So we're going to start for our first sprint, which is 10 minutes. And we're going to start in 3, 2, 1. Happy productivity, everyone. That was the end of the first sprint. How did people do?
Let's see. I added, okay, so I'll just say here too, okay, so I've been working on my prophecy project, which is an adult fantasy. It's kind of like an industrial revolution world where they are starting to get electricity and guns and like kind of like our world, but it still has magic and fantasy elements, and it's a travel story about like secrets and curses. So
Love it.
I love my story, but it has been a lot of work because I'm on draft 2. So I've pretty much been bulking up the world building, the magic system, like all of that, and really fleshing out my acts. And chapter 26 is what I'm on today, and that is my Act 3 introduction. So I'm almost at the end, which is really exciting.
That's so exciting.
Yeah. And in that 10 minutes, I added 230 words.
Nice. So I'm actually doing like a little writing experiment type thing today. So for the first sprint, I pretty much just like filmed myself kind of talking about it and what I'm going to be doing. I pulled up all my documents and yeah, that's pretty much all I did.
I was reading, so Crow's Talons, I think is their YouTube username, who's normally in my streams. They're an alpha reader for the sequel to this because they read this of their own volition, I'm pretty sure, which is great. And I was like, you want to be an alpha reader for book 2? So they sent me their feedback like a few days ago, but I was like neck deep in a project for school. So I was finally reading the comments, and some of the comments were just cracking me up. Like, I'll read one, and this was zero context, so definitely. But one is the idea of Knox hitchhiking is kind of hilarious, and I can just say that, yeah, it was funny to write. So like the fact that it came off as funny to Crows made me very happy.
Yeah, I love getting commentary from people. Like obviously, like I like the critiques as well, but like getting like the commentary of like some, like you said, like something that like I wanted it to come off as funny or I wanted it to be impactful, and like that actually coming off is like I'm doing my job.
I'm let's see. Ninka got 130 words in a new story. That's awesome. Shanice came in a little bit late, but is here. And then I accidentally did bath wrong and told her that we had 50 minutes left of sprinting, even though we have 70 minutes left of sprinting. So thank you, Katja. And then Katja got in trouble because Streamlabs didn't like the math symbols she was using. Yeah, so yeah. I forgot that I had Streamlabs connected to my YouTube because I don't use Streamlabs for YouTube anymore. Like I only use it for Twitch. So yeah. Alpha reader is kind of like a beta reader with the understanding that the manuscript is rough. Like it hasn't even been fixed by the author. Really.
Alpha readers and critique partners are interchangeable, but I typically look as critique partners as people that you like, that's your like reading click, and they stay with you for every project, whereas an alpha reader is kind of on that same level, but might be like a one and done.
Yeah, I don't really have critique partners. I haven't been able to like find anyone whose like schedule syncs up with mine. But like I definitely have author friends who I'd be like, if our schedules matched up, I would be very happy to be their critique partner. But normally like our schedules work out that like I'm an alpha reader or normally actually a beta reader because of like my homework schedule and stuff. But yeah, no, okay, so Chrono Yami on YouTube and Crow's Talons on Twitch. Messed it up, but whatever. They're here. And yeah, Natalie Locke, Natalie, who's Writer Lock on YouTube, she has, or no, she is Natalie Locke on YouTube, and her email's right on. My bad. She also like does comments like that, and when I was texting her about it, she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I just like do that." I was like, "No, I love when like I want the reactions in addition to the critiques,
Yes,
because it's fun." And it like helps me fall back in love with my story when, you know, maybe I've been like sitting for like weeks within the back of my head where it's like, oh, this shit, I need to fix it. And I don't know what they're going to tell me to fix.
Right.
Like, it's the whole thing.
Right.
Yeah. Great Fry Brows NetGalley. That's cool.
Productive.
Cool.
Is there anything good on NetGalley right now? I like have to refrain from going on NetGalley because I'll request like 6 things and then I'll get them all and I'll be like, oh no.
That's lucky. I have a classmate in my publishing program, and she's like, how on earth do I get like things from NetGalley? Because she was like, I don't get things. And so someone else in my program who does get a lot of things was like, you just request everything you're remotely interested in, and the more you get, the more you get.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. But
it does help if you, so like I have like my YouTube, my Instagram, my Twitter, and my Goodreads are all connected, and it helps to see like that you are active in the book community.
yeah.
So you don't do it in that way. I do think like they're more selective, but like I get denied a lot, especially when I go like big and I try to request the big books. I usually get those denied immediately.
I just realized I forgot to paste the actual link to the Forest Room, so I'm gonna do that now. My bad. I had requested something on NetGalley, and then life just like kind of hit me in the face. So I think NetGalley thinks that I'm really unreliable or something. But like I have so many books on my TBR, and I do so much beta reading for other authors. I have 2 books I need to beta read before the end of March, actually. I haven't started. I read quickly though, so like but it's like my TBR list is so big, not including new releases for my author friends and beta reading for author friends, so I can live without being on NetGalley. NetGalley is a place where publishers can post books to get reviews, and then reviewers request the book, and then publishers go through the applications and say like, yes, you can get this book early to read and review it.
So they're all digital advanced reader copies on NetGalley. So like you can go there and get like an e-book kind of deal, or they just started doing fake audiobooks, which has been interesting because I did one of those. So if you're looking for like
I didn't know they have audiobooks.
They just started a couple of months ago. I did one book, which I actually did it pretty well. Like I was a little, sometimes the artificial voice, like you could tell it was artificial and you're like, oh, but then like for the most part, like you start to get used to it. So it is a little bit weird because like inflections aren't there, but
yeah,
it was an interesting experience.
Oh, speaking of audiobooks, so Sarah Sutton has made, I promise we're going to start the next one soon. Sarah Sutton has made videos about her experience with audiobooks, and I've been thinking about turning my books into audiobooks like on and off for like the past 2 years.
Yeah.
But my books are told from a male and female perspective, and I just like, I don't really like a male reading for a female point of view, but I also don't really like a female reading for a male point of view. And ACX doesn't let me ask for 2 narrators.
Oh no.
And I don't, and like any other way to do an audiobook is so expensive. And I just like, I don't know what to do. Because I want to make my books accessible. Like, because especially since like I know like Doll, who's another author tuber, like, you know,
Yeah.
needs audiobooks preferably. And I just, it's so frustrating.
I know. That's why like I give you guys credit for self-publishing, and that's the one reason that like I don't want to do it. Like it's just so much effort.
Well, because it's like, like the book that I'm planning on writing after this trilogy is done is going to be my first book completely from one point of view that's going to be published. I have another one that's completely from a female point of view. And when I was going through the editing or revising of what I've already written, part of me was like, do I add the guy's point of view? And I was like, nope. Like, stick to your guns, Sarah. You wrote it one way for a reason. But like, you know, so for that book, I could have a guy narrate the whole thing and I wouldn't have any qualms about it. And for the following one, I could have a girl narrate the whole thing and I wouldn't have qualms any about it. But it's just like, I wrote these in different points of view for a reason. Like, I don't want one voice or one narrate. Like, I know that voice actors like should have range, and I would be saying that in the thing, but I don't want.
I mean, I personally, I know someone, Grape Fry actually, I just said the same thing. I do love when like we have a full cast.
Yes.
And I totally agree with what she said, because it's
Yes.
so hard to like you're not like, guys aren't going to have like the full pitchness of a female for the most part, and the same is opposite for the girls. Like, they're not going to be able to lower their voice. And sometimes like when, like, I'm just thinking, because I'm actually like going on and off with the Sarah J. Maas book from audio and physically reading it. And the voice for Amryn in that series, like that I'm reading for Silver Flames, like, she just reminds me of like this old British lady. And that's not how I picture Amryn at all. So every time Amryn speaks in the book, I'm like, I hate it. Stop. So like, I do know that like, you obviously, readers are going to have like different ideas, and you're going to have different ideas. And like, if you only have one narrator, you don't know what their range is going to be. And I know you can pick, like, choose from narrators, but it's always better if you can get more than one.
Because someone had like, I know how to do it all myself, but like that's just not something I want to be devoting my time to. I'd rather be writing the next book than doing it. And I would run into the same problem of like, I'm not going to make my voice lower for the guy voice. And like, yes, their tone of like the word choice is different normally between my guys and like girls, so that people are like, oh, your characters like have a really strong voice, when sometimes even when I'm writing it, I'm like, oh my God, I hope that people can tell the difference. Because they're all just really snarky, basically. It's like the underlying thing for my characters. And it's just like,
yeah, I get you.
Yep.
Okay, next sprint.
On that note.
Sorry, I just need to vent. Okay, we're going to start in 3, 2, 1. Happy productivity, everyone. How did everyone do?
Good. Well, I made breakfast and I'm eating breakfast. And that's kind of it.
Important though.
Yes, my brain food. Can't write if I don't have brain power.
Yeah, I should probably eat something. But I'm currently just copying comments from a Word document into my Scrivener file. So how much brain power does that really take?
Right. All that cooking.
I added 307 more words to this chapter. I was not that I was distracted, but I was like researching some things, like trying to get a feel for like how like my world and like some of the objects would look, like automobiles and things like that. So
Yeah. Ooh, that's always fun.
So yeah, I'm excited. Like this book's not gonna be like as steampunky, but like if I ever continued in the world,
The fact
like,
that you said it as steampunky like has me very excited.
yeah, like it's like a bridge to a steampunk novel. Like there's again, they're on the bridge of an industrial revolution on their continent, but I reference the other continent, which is already industrialized. So like if I ever wanted to like do more, like I have a whole like steampunk world I can work with.
I do remember you saying like the edge of industrial revolution, but
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of like what that implied.
Yeah.
So please continue in that world.
Yeah, I might. I mean, this is written as a standalone, but I mean, potential is there when you create your entire world.
Yes.
I have a steampunk story planned, and I have so many covers from pre-mades that like are just sitting waiting for me to write the stories. And I'm way too excited that I'm just going to share the cover for this now because I can't. Like it's years down the line. Like I don't think I'm getting to it until 2023.
Ooh.
Ooh. I love that.
I do too.
It's like it looks steampunk.
Yeah. She's also a time traveler.
Ooh.
And I have the rules for time travel set. I just need to figure out where she's going.
Yeah. I love it.
But that's the fun part. You can create whatever you want.
Yeah. But I have like some very strict rules, and they kind of already came to me when I got that cover. And then I took a class. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, the cover artist. I think the cover artist made it, or maybe they just found a font. I don't remember. I'd have to ask them again. But I took a class all about like the nature of time in literature. It was like a very neat class at Boston University when I was briefly there. And one of the things we had to read was the Time Machine. And it was kind of about like this person who invented a time machine, and like they go all the way back. Yeah. They go all the way back in time.
Yep.
And then they go all the way forward in time. And then we also read oh my God, what else? We read a bunch of things, and some of them were like time is a human construct. Like if you're on a train, like you're condensing like the time necessary to cover the same amount of distance and things like that.
Yeah.
And then we talked about like the origin of like Greenwich Mean Time and like how they used to manually have to do the clocks, but now it's all computerized and like on a system and things like that. So like that helped me come up with it.
That's awesome. I love theorizing and stuff like that. My friend has the girl that I co-write with, my friend Caitlin, she has like this like such a cool concept for like time, where like the main character like views time as a tapestry.
Oh, that's cool.
Like she started writing it and then like she stopped and she would go back and I'm like, please, can you just
finish it? Tell her to finish it.
I'm like, I need to know what happens.
There's a video from Minute Physics on YouTube. I don't remember the title, but it's basically all about time travel and fiction. And it's like in Harry Potter, it's like everything that happened when he went back in time has already happened. Like it's all already there. And then you have another version where it's like if you go back in time and you change something, a new timeline splits off. And then they described one other type, I think, but they were basically describing different types of time travel and why they're different and they drew it out to make it easier for some people to understand. And it was just like, I really liked it. But it's also like if you've seen Avengers Endgame and there's a discussion of like if you take one of the reality stone, like one not the reality stone. If you take one of the Infinity Stones out of a certain timeline, it creates another one and it messes everything up, which is like the theory that that's what the Multiverse of Madness, the Doctor Strange sequel, is going to be about.
Yeah.
So
I will say because I'm super picky with time travel just because it's so easy to mess it up or like make it not make sense because it's such like a bigger concept that we don't even fully understand because clearly we don't time travel.
Yeah.
But I liked the Avengers like way of describing it. Like it worked really well for me as like a story point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm still figuring out some of the particulars, but I have some very set rules where it's like you can't be in another time for a really long period without returning to your own time first, or you cease to exist in your own time, and then all your descendants cease to exist. Because if you don't exist in your own time,
they can't exist.
Right. And so it's like the thing that happens at the end of Endgame for a certain Avenger wouldn't be able to happen in my book.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Like that would be too long. Like even though the times, like it just wouldn't work in my book.
Okay, I think I know who you're talking about. But.
Yeah, because the timeline, like in my world, the time would get confused.
Yeah.
And
okay. I get that.
It's kind of a similar concept to Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, but instead of the time thing, it's the other thing that happened in season 4.
Okay.
With the
yeah.
You know, it's like I can't say anything else.
Major spoiler, but yes. Autumn's just like, okay.
I'm just smiling.
The collapsing thing.
Yeah. That's
all I can say.
I get to what you're saying. I'm here for it though. So when you write it, let me know.
Yeah, no. It's not going to be a cop out. I promise.
Yeah, I also agree, Maddie. That's why I think I'm really like picky with time travel stuff because so many people are just like, let's use it to like fix our mistakes now, and I'm like, oh.
I know. Yeah, like I mean, we all know a certain author who had to write out an OP like time turner. And then Cursed Child just went and was like, oh yeah, someone made an evil version. And I'm like, cool.
Listen, I'm like, I always look at Cursed Child and I'm like I was such a devoted Harry Potter fan.
Cursed Child makes me mad.
Oh man. No, yeah, you don't even understand how mad I get. Like that could be a rant review.
Do it. Oh my God, please do it. Because I saw it on stage and it's so much better than like what I hear people who've like only read it. And like the Super Carlin brothers talk about it all the time. Where it's
terrible. It literally undoes everything about
Oh my God. I was so mad even seeing it on stage, but they're like, it's so much better on stage than it is reading the book. But every time they like mention it, they like throw the book over their shoulder, like in a video. And I'm like, yeah.
It's rough. I mean, it really should never exist. It was just capitalizing on capitalism.
But like there's a way to capitalize on capitalism without angering an entire fan base by like messing up the world.
That is not it.
Canon.
Like it literally okay, we gotta do a sprint.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna start.
I'm getting so mad again because of how much it like messes everything up.
Also, it just like people were mad that Hermione was black. I was like, I don't care. They just completely ruined her characterization and they go against stuff that was in like canon. Like, I don't care that, like, she's black. Like, whatever. Like, she has frizzy hair and, like, she's in charge.
Oh, my God. I was going to say, I loved it.
She's stupid enough to not realize that certain ingredients that she used multiple times while in school means that, oh, look, a certain thing is happening. When she's the one who was doing the thing all the time in school, she would have picked up on that.
Yep, I agree. Either that's just like one thing.
Okay,
But
we're
yeah.
gonna start. 3, 2, 1. Happy sprinting, everyone. that is the end of our third sprint. How did people do? I took a short break from copying comments to writing in my book.
That's a good break.
For sure. So I was able to actually start writing since I'm kind of revising the outline for Project Brina. That's what I'm working on. And I'm in Act 2, in the section of Act 2. So I was kind of catching up on where I was headed because it's been a while since I've actually been able to sit down and enjoy and think about what I'm doing that's writing related. So I was able to do that, and I got through kind of halfway through one of the chapter points. So yay.
Hey, that is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I just kept writing. I know my Act 3, I really had to this is a second draft, so there's a lot that I've had to flesh out. But I've been pretty much just adding words as I feel fit, and I'm in kind of expanding their view of the city, because initially in this part, they were in a different town. But when I was going through this, I'm like, it doesn't make sense that they're in this town. Like, they need to get information in the city. So I just pretty much I'm shifting everything from them being they did stop in the one town, but they kept moving. So I'm fleshing out the city now and describing how it's been industrialized, how there's still little bits of the old style houses, but now there's bricks and stones and multi structures and that kind of stuff. So they're walking around and going through this merchant because the celebration's about to happen. So there's
That's
people,
fun.
yeah, there's just people everywhere, and they're trying to gather intel. So it's just a fun thing. But I wrote 376 words. So
Nice.
The half hours or the 20 minutes are rough because I can start to get into them, but then
and then it ends.
Yeah, and then it ends.
I'm sorry. I know you like 30 minutes.
Just when I'm editing, if I was drafting, this would be completely fine, but it takes more brain power to think through everything when you're editing.
Yeah.
Shanice, text me because I think you think I'm thinking of something else for Chilling Adventures of Sabrina from our earlier discussion. The thing about Harry Potter time travel is that the timeline flattens. So they didn't know that Buckbeak wasn't killed because they'd already done it, the same way that Harry didn't know that he had cast the Patronus spell, charm to save himself. But he needs to, because when they go back in time, he sees that he needs saving and does. So when you're watching it from they haven't traveled back in time, but you know that that the stuff that they did when they traveled back in time already exists, it sounds wrong. But it's because the timeline flattens instead of creating a new timeline.
Mm-hmm.
It layers on top.
Yeah.
Versus splintering off. Is the easiest way I can explain that. People are saying it's a good thing that the sprint started, or people were about to go off on Harry Potter related stuff. So yeah, Sage came in and said, reminded everyone to start hydrating back up to work. And then this is the first break that I've remembered to put the banner up. So also, Carrie said, I think at the end of the last sprint that they finished chapter 12 and only have 3 more. Yeah. So 3 more to write, 3 more to edit, 3. I'm just curious because that's awesome. People have been working. Charlie ate breakfast. I saw someone come in that I wanted to put up on screen. Yeah. A former classmate of mine saying hi. So hello. Crow is doing more beta reading and started looking up hotel bookings for their sister's dance competition. Oh, interesting. What type of dance does she do? I've done a lot of different types, so I'm curious. 164 for Klatcha.
Nice.
Okay, Regina and Carrie both had sugar. Regina's also now alpha reader for me. And I apparently did something. I'm reading I'm reading Crow's comments and I'm going through like chronologically, but I really want to skip to the end to see their reaction to something. But I want to see their progression, so I'm forcing myself to be good. 187 words. I spent time going back to my original manuscript. Yeah, so Shanice is doing a rewrite, and I kind of like talked to her about it yesterday. I was basically like, you have all these good ideas, just start writing. Like stop re-outlining and like get to the writing stage. So that's kind of where Autumn's at too.
Yeah, I know.
Great Fry followed both of you on Instagram.
Oh, I don't know if I'm following you, but I will follow you back.
Yes.
I'm really bad at like remembering to cross-platform. And then I'll be thinking I do, and then I'll be like, why aren't I following you somewhere?
Well, there was I think it was either at the end of last year or like at the start of January, I downloaded this app. I can't remember what it was called. But basically, I unfollowed a bunch of people en masse because I was like, I'm never seeing my writer friends post because I'm following like all these celebrities who like I don't care about anymore and followed like years ago. So like mass unfollow. And then I followed back the people I remembered. And then it was like, you followed this person. You want to follow this person back? And I'm like, oh, shit. Yes, I do want to follow this person back.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to unfollow them in the first place.
It's such a cycle. And like I also realize too that like sometimes I'll enter giveaways. And personally for me, like I've only hosted, I think, like 2 giveaways on Instagram. I do want to host more, but like I haven't had any ideas to host one lately. But I want it, like I hate giveaways that make you follow a bunch of people.
Oh, I hate those.
I do
It
too.
drives me insane, and it's just not something I'm a fan of.
Right.
But like sometimes I'll like find that like where I'm like, where did these people come from? And I'm like, it's probably like a giveaway from like 3 years ago, but for whatever reason now they're circulating back on my feed.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then I've been kind of deleting people that way too. But I will say one of the giveaways ended up like someone I followed recently. I ended up reading one of their books, and I really enjoyed it. So I guess that was a benefit.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Cool.
It was the Hades and Persephone retelling that I was talking about, I think, last time.
Okay. Oh, by the way, so the project that I was saying I was neck deep in, for my book acquisition and editorial class, we have to do a report on trends. So there were different trends that we could pick from, or we could just like do one of our own but clear with them. But one of the trends is old is new, and then a separate one was fairy tale retellings, and I saw old is new before I saw fairy tale retelling. So I asked for old is new, and I got that. And you can only have 2 people doing each one. So I'm doing, and he's like, oh, like you could do anything you want within old is new. And I decided to like focus on Greek mythology retellings. And I have Deal with the Elf King in my presentation.
Yay!
Yeah, I have oh my God, I spent 10 hours making a spreadsheet so I could compare the titles, the author, young adult, middle grade, new adult or adult, independently published or the publisher, whether it's a feminist retelling, a romance, whether it involves the Trojan War, like the year it was published, the number of sales it made. It was like a lot of work, but like.
I mean, it sounds awesome.
That sounds very organized.
Oh my God.
Oh my.
Wow.
I love it.
I'm impressed.
I'm just gonna go now.
I got really excited. Like I didn't have to do that. Like I could have made this so much easier on myself, but having this at the same time also makes my job easier.
Yeah.
With organizing my thoughts. So yeah. Okay. So sister does group dances, but her solos are always contemporary. Cool. And the group dances, like what other genres? Like ballet, modern, because technically contemporary and modern are like
very similar.
sisters, not twins.
Yeah.
Like people say about eyebrows.
Modern was always interesting for me because like I liked the fluid movements, but like none of it made sense.
They're not really supposed to.
I know.
That's kind of the point.
But it was like I went from like doing jazz, like all like very like traditional dancing, and then like I tried like modern, and I'm like, I don't know if I would stick with this.
I liked ballet the best, but my body hated ballet the most.
I hated ballet. I'm not flexible, so like a lot of things it was hard for me to do.
Yeah. I at one point in my life was able to do point.
I never got there.
I was there, and I was there with this one company. But then that company closed down, and everybody else in the area did more of like modern and then like hip hop and things like that. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to do point. It's so beautiful.
So I was supposed to do point the next year, but I stopped doing. So I stopped doing ballet at the year before you move on to point because I'm a Pisces. So my mom, I have like foot problems, and my mom was like, "You're gonna see a doctor for this," and who was like a very good doctor, and he was like, "Yeah, I wouldn't do point because I guarantee you that even if you do everything correctly, you're going to break your ankle at some point." And I dropped out of ballet, and I think I went to tap or hip hop next. I don't remember. There was a period where I was kind of cycling through a bunch of different ones.
Yeah.
And I wound up breaking my ankle years and years later, not through dance, but because I was running up the street with my dog, and the street was uneven, and my ankle.
Oh my gosh!
Like, go figure. Like you avoided something, and then still had it come to you anyway.
I know. I was just like, God dang.
Yeah. It was so funny. I think like a week or so ago, my significant other didn't know that I did like a lot of like that kind of stuff when I was younger, and I also did baton. And they were like, I didn't know you did that. And I was like, yeah, let me show you. So, okay. So I grabbed a baseball bat because we're also big like baseball fans. Okay. And we all know how baseball.
I don't know why. I just got that vibe from you. So it totally makes sense. And I don't even know what that means, but it's like the moment you said that, I was like, oh yeah, I guess that.
So I grabbed a bat, and I was like, and I said, okay, keep in mind that it's not even, okay?
But also, the bat is like this, and the baton is like that. Like,
hey, but I did it, and they were like,
"That's awesome!"
I said, "Yeah, I just did that, and it's been 15 years. Thank you very much."
Oh, I love that.
I definitely just feel like we were meant to be friends. Like I graduated to a fire baton at one point. And then, so I was a little afraid of it, but then I quit after that. So my grandmother was really mad at me because she bought me the fire baton, and then I quit the year later. But I had like 3 different batons. I had the glow stick baton so that we would do night parades, and then I had the fire. And then I quit.
There's something, what's it called when like the fake guns and you're in marching band kind of?
Color guard?
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so someone who I beta read for and then became their like PR intern. Their daughter was, so this was, the person was an adult, like older than me. And her daughter was in color guard. And when she told me that, I looked it up and I was like,
yeah, I was asked to be in the color guard because I had like a lot of like dance experience and obviously like that kind of stuff too. I wasn't able to do it because like I did a lot of other sports and like the schedules just didn't line up, but they were so upset when like I got like asked to do it and I was like, I'm sorry, I can't do it because I have other things. And they were like, we can make it work. And I was like, I can't. Not with everything else that's going on. So I had the opportunity to do color guard in high school but I did not.
Yeah.
Do I regret my decision? Absolutely not.
I'm also just thinking about the number of times that like my body like just didn't work, and the number of times I had to go into like physical therapy. That part of me is like, I'd rather have stuck it out and done point if I was going to end up being in physical therapy this many times anyway.
Right.
Like, have something to show for it.
Yeah.
We didn't have color guard or flag or anything like that in my school. I mean, we were a very, very tiny school too, so we just we had cheerleading and the typical sports. Like we didn't even have volleyball.
My high school had volleyball, and it was like a really big thing. And like my cousins went to my high school before I did, so like they were both on the volleyball team and were very big on it. But to me, when I went into the high school, I was like, I don't know if volleyball is big for my high school or if it's just big because, like I knew it as big because of my cousins. And it's like, oh no, they're big. Homecoming volleyball game was a big deal.
Wow. I always wanted to play volleyball, but we didn't have it. We literally had baseball, softball, basketball, soccer, football, cheerleading, and golf. And that was it. I always wanted to play rugby. I always wanted to do volleyball. I bowled like in a rec league, but we didn't have like our bowling thing or whatever. And like there was other people in the area that have wrestling, but that wasn't a thing for like it's not big like enough around this area. So
I was gonna say wrestling is like so big down here in the South. It's like crazy, or at least where I am.
There was wrestling in my high school too, but I was like, I don't really like any of the guys who are on the wrestling team, so like I'm not gonna spend time to watch them wrestle.
Yeah.
I don't think I would ever care about wrestling. I do like MMA, but like wrestling itself like isn't enough for me.
Yeah, I just get bored.
Punch in the face.
Right.
I don't know. Like I feel like I would watch like mixed martial arts, or I would watch like any martial art. But like if it's just wrestling,
yeah, no, it's not enough. Like I need like the whole like the roundness of it.
I would prefer to watch golf, and to me, golf is very boring.
Golf is so boring to watch, but I would also prefer to watch golf.
Yeah, but yeah, I might at least like I can critique and be judgmental on like golf.
Okay, I promise we're gonna do another sprint. Like. Just for a second, and we're going to run over the top of the hour mark as it has been happening very commonly in the new year. So I apologize everyone who like needs to duck out at 11, but 11 EST. But anyway, like my uncle once invited me to watch him play golf, and I was like, I love you, but no. Yeah. Also, to answer this question, the signature stickers are not big enough for me to write a personalized note. But if you buy a signature sticker, I can write a personalized note like on a card that will then go in the envelope that I'm mailing the sticker in. But yeah, if you're saying like just to a name, I could maybe squeeze it in, but wait. So this is the signature sticker, and it like fills the whole thing. So, yeah, personalization would have to be like on a separate thing that I could send, which I would be fine with. But yeah, that's the answer to your question. I have cousins who are like this, like my female cousins who played volleyball, and then our cousins who are actually their first cousins who are like brothers. They also could do everything, and I was just like, I did a bunch of swimming, and I was told that I could be on swim team, but I don't like participating in competitive sports. Like I like watching competitive sports, but I don't like participating in competitive sports because I just like get performance anxiety.
Yeah. I did
one of those people that could be good at everything. And I feel like I am just because I am really competitive. Like I'm going to be the best. But like I know like I have shortcomings in some things. Like softball and bowling and baton were probably my best like sports. and technically running, but I joined track and quit like after a week because I hated running, but I'm a good runner. I have really good endurance.
You just hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, swimming was always my best because I did it the longest. Like I learned when I was
swimming
2, and I did it through like middle school, and then I had to stop because I was just getting so many ear infections that it wasn't worth it since I wasn't on a team. But then like I was good at softball and any type of dance which is a sport, and I'll fight anyone who dares otherwise. Like those I'm good at.
Yes. A lot on their body, like let's be real.
Yeah. And I was good at gymnastics, but I could never like do a spin and like a tumble. I couldn't tumble at all, and I was like, oh, this is so frustrating. So I dropped gymnastics.
Yeah, I could never do gymnastics. I was flexible, but like not like that. And because this is me, and this is all me, but because I'm so tall, I have a lot of like legs to like flip over.
I don't have that problem.
And that would just kind of freak me out, where it's like, it's not like a little woo, it's like oh God, I hope this works.
I can do a cartwheel, and I was always too scared to try a round off just because I was like,
oh yeah,
I was confident I was going to fail, and I think that messed me up. So we're going to do a 20-minute sprint and then 10-minute sprint, and then Jessie Elliott on her channel is starting at noon EST. Yes. And I know Shanice is doing a 10K day, so in the sprint squad, which is Keelan Rivers Discord, and I will paste a link to that Discord in the chat during the sprint probably. So we're going to start the final 20-minute sprint, and then we're going to do a 10-minute sprint. So yes. So that took a while. I apologize, but I have no regrets.
It was a good conversation.
Yes.
Okay, I haven't had a lot of socialization this week, okay?
Yeah, I haven't either. I like need this.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna start in 3, 2, 1. Happy productivity, everyone. that was the end of the final 20-minute sprint. We're going to do a 10-minute sprint as our final one. I'm going to set that up now, and we're going to get into it rather quickly so I don't keep it for forever.
Yes.
How did you both do while I'm setting this up?
Yeah, I did good. I am still just working at re-outlining, and I'm moving on to the next plot, like point, like chapter, which is kind of like the midpoint of Act 2. So I'm very happy.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I did get a little bit stuck just because the part of the book that I'm in, I'm debating on which character, like if I should keep it the character that the interaction's happening with or if I should move it. But I did I wanted to try to get to a natural stopping point for where I was, at least for the previous scene. So I did end up adding 294 words, and I think I literally have like 2 sentences and that scene will be done. So
Yeah.
I think that's what I'll finish for the 10-minute sprint, and then we'll figure out like the bigger plot issue after.
Yeah.
This is exciting.
Very cool.
Love that.
Shanice is stuck. I'm sorry to hear that.
No.
Hello, Vicky. Koch got 173. Important and good news. I'm glad to hear that, Crow.
Yes.
Ooh, cool.
Ooh.
I was about to show a baby hat that I crocheted, but then I realized that on the off chance that the mother of said baby watches my channel, I don't want to spoil the surprise.
I don't blame you.
Like she knows I'm making the hat, but she doesn't know color, style, whatever. So
Yeah, I would keep it a secret just in case.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to jump into the next right now because I don't see any more comments coming through, and that is a-okay with me. We're going to start in 3, 2, 1. Happy productivity, everyone. remember to unmute myself. That was the final sprint. How did everyone do? Don't forget to stretch, hydrate, save your work, and Hulk smash the like button, as Moon Bunny Sage Internet Parent says. Yeah, and also these ladies are linked down below, their YouTube channels, and through their YouTube channels you can find their Instagrams.
And a bunch of other links that sometimes I use.
Yeah, so for that sprint, I just kept working on the revised outline. Nothing fancy. No word counts.
I wrote 58 words because that was the end of the scene. So I was like, we're just going to stop here. 10 minutes is not going to get me much farther.
Well, you did something.
I did. And then I was making myself laugh by memes.
Love it.
Apparently,
I finished translating my birth chart in like a very short way.
I love it.
Just look at it and be like, yep. That's what I did.
I love it.
Yeah.
You were going to say something before I cut you off?
Oh, it was just like one of the things, it wasn't even a meme. It was just apparently there's like really oddly specific Facebook groups. And one of them was like Catholics against seedless watermelon. But then like people started doing parodies of that group of like seedless watermelons against Catholics. And then it just kept going from there. And there's like 6 groups that are like variants. So I was just laughing at the fact that this exists.
That's funny.
That is funny. The birth chart I printed from astrocharts.com, astro-charts.com. And then I kind of spent some money on like getting an actual report that translates it. And it is so spot on that they should, probably make me a sponsor or something, because they're really accurate. And I would, I think it's worth it. But yeah.
That's awesome.
It's a 43-page report, and I would like to make it shorter. So like 1 page, and I'm still working on the 2nd page. But it's going to be like I've already condensed like 20 pages into 1 page. So
that's
cool.
Awesome.
Okay, it is 11:25, which means in 35 minutes, Jessie Elliott is starting her writing sprints, which I will paste the link to that one more time. But while I'm doing that, would you two ladies like to do an outro?
Sure. I'll go first. That's what this was. Free. Just kidding. So everyone, hey, and I'm Autumn Ashleigh, another author tuber here in the community. I'm currently working on my debut project called Project Brina, and doing a full rewrite of that probably because it had too many issues going on with the original story. But I do post writing related content and do live streams on my own channel, as well as co-host on other channels, obviously, which is why I'm here. And that's pretty much everything. I have a video that will be going out this week, and I'm really excited about it because it's a collab with a bunch of other author tubers, and I'm very, very excited for it. And my next live stream, I believe, is on Bree's channel this Thursday.
Yep.
At 7.
Yeah. Is it the power? No. It's on Bree's channel, so it's not the power hour.
Yep.
Well, I think I'm still going to make it a power hour.
Yes.
Okay. I am down.
Because I need the 30 minutes.
I know, I know, the different gimmicks of like different people's like writing sprints, and I'm just like, I was like, wait, Autumn's the power hour.
My gimmick is usually increasing by like 5, but I am gonna adopt Autumn's thing just because the half hour is, like I said, when I'm editing, it's really good just so I can really get invested in that scene or the chapter. But that's probably what's going to happen. But
that's so
anyway, I'm Bree Buonomo. I am writer, reader, nerd, witch, and I post all that good stuff on my channel. If you go over to my video, I do have all of my links on my channel as far as Instagram, Twitter, I started gaming on Twitch, so I have game streams on Wednesday nights over there. And I'm working on my prophecy project, which is my hope that I would love it to be my debut, but is the project that I want to query this year. So that's where I'm at.
For those of you who don't know, my name is Zara Hoffman. I'm a self-published author of 4, soon to be 5, and many more down the line. I host writing sprints on Sundays, like today at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on my YouTube channel. I host writing sprints on Twitch on Friday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I make videos about writing and musical theater. And maybe somewhere down the line, I will make other types of videos too. I hope you all had a great time. I hope this morning was productive for you. And I hope to see you all another time very soon.